I know you have a big love for basketball. Can you want to kind of talk about how, that is and like your thoughts on the NBA restarting?
Yeah. I have always loved basketball since I was like really young. And I was like I said before, I was going to be a ball boy for the Pistons in Game 6 of the NBA Finals in 1990. And then they won in Game 5.
That was against who was that against?
Portland.
Okay.
And I remember crying, even though they won, which, But I was actually I was at the game in 2004 when Chauncey hit the half court shot off the backboard.
Oh, yeah.
To send it into overtime.
Yeah, big shot Billups.
Yep.
He really was. That team was cool. I
thought they would win. I really thought that team with Chauncey and them was going to get one.
They did.
I mean, after LeBron stopped that second one from coming back. I thought they would be unstoppable with Rashid and all them. That was crazy team.
Rashid was I had always heard from people who knew more about basketball that Rashid was considered the best all around player for a while.
He was definitely considered one of the most underrated players that can do everything for you. He was like a shooting big man who could score inside and do it, handle all that before, now where everybody has to be able to shoot and do all this. But he was kind of one of the first people who was really oh yeah, he's a knockdown shooter and he can do all this other stuff for you at 6'10",
Mm-hmm.
Plus he was funny.
Yeah. Yeah. He's funny, wild guy. You guys had a wild team. Really, honestly.
And aggressive, man. He was buck up. He was all of that.
He had a 6'6" center who rebounded and blocked everything.
Big Ben. Yeah. It's funny. Detroit's kind of a smaller town. There's all sorts of stories about those guys.
The Pistons, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there are rock stars out there because they're winning championships. The only sports team out of Detroit to actually be winning championships.
Vinny Johnson probably has never paid for a drink in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone loved he's still yeah. I mean, I think if you play for the Pistons and especially if you win a championship,
you're a guy.
Yeah. Probably whatever you want.
I mean, I've met Rick Mayhorn a couple times and actually had conversations with him. So, and he's like, yeah, I love Detroit. They love me. It was just, he talked about the period when they were, the bad boy Pistons, and he was like, it was just unreal times.
Yeah, they just tore that stadium down actually.
Yeah, I heard it was in Auburn Hills. Is that where it was?
Mm. Yeah, which was weird. I mean, it's weird to
kind of weird location already.
Yeah. But now I think that the Little Caesars arena where they play now, it's I think that it was putting basketball in was more of an afterthought. And so when you're not on the court, but when you're in the front row, there's still hockey boards.
That's weird.
I feel like the arena is built more vertically.
Yeah.
Which is here to watch hockey, but it's not
for hockey. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I like the other place better.
Hey, I mean, if Detroit can get back to those glory days, maybe you guys can get a new stadium. They're a little ways off right now.
I mean, it's been our drafting. Luke Kennard over Donovan Mitchell.
Well, speaking of drafting, I mean, Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony. What?
Or Wade, for that matter.
What? You guys could have had a legit dynasty if they would have taken either one of those players.
I wonder if Melo would have been happy in Detroit.
I think they would have made him a better player, overall earlier on in his career, because he would have won championships.
Right, and they probably would have won a second championship because.
Oh yeah,
he needed scoring, and Melo was an automatic scorer, and that's. I think he would eventually became his team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought about that a lot.
That's kind of hurt because Mel even talked about it. I think he talked about it a couple weeks ago. He was like, yeah, I think if I got drafted by Detroit, I might have had 2-3 championships and I'm not been a different player.
Yeah, well then plus, I mean, Joe Dumars then traded away Billups for Iverson, which was like a weird move.
Yeah, man, that's weird.
I know.
Being from Colorado, I always imagined like if Chauncey would come back to Colorado and play with Melo, and like if they could get
and it happened. And that just happened to be Melo's best years.
That was his best. Yeah, I thought that was like.
So I think Billups and him together early on would have been amazing.
And then he just left, and that was a wrap, basically.
Do you guys kind of think, aside from Giannis, do you think that Milwaukee currently is kind of more like the 04 Pistons than any other team? Where like they just have a bunch of really good players, but none of them are like superstars.
Yeah, I can't say that because Rip Hamilton.
Like Toronto might be more like that.
Yeah, I think they're more like Toronto. I would say be more like Detroit, where they have like really good individual players.
But Siakam's pretty. He's pretty legit superstar.
Yeah, he's like a Tyshawn Prince to me. Like, and Tyshawn was my guy, you know. And then Rip Hamilton, I think. So like I'm just automatic, and then you know obviously Chauncey. Like
if you were playing now, I think if Rip were playing now, he probably would have shot the three better.
Yeah, he didn't. You didn't need to shoot a three back.
Nobody cared about the three. They were caring about handles and getting a pull up. You know,
he was all short corner mid range, automatic. Like shot like 85% from there. Like it's ridiculous.
He seemed like one of those guys that like would have been so annoying to have to try and cover, just because he's like.
Running all game.
Oh my God, that would be so annoying.
So obviously Detroit is your favorite team. Who's your favorite player growing up?
I don't know. I mean, I loved Michael Jordan, but I hated him too because he ended the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
I loved Isaiah Thomas, and then when he went to New York and was like such a disaster there.
He's getting a lot of hate lately. His image is kind of getting torn down a bit.
Well, I mean, he was a great player though.
Amazing player.
But I loved Grant Hill. Like when Grant Hill and Jerry Stackhouse were on the Pistons, that was they had teal jerseys. That was like such a fun team.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries.
Yeah, seriously, I think Grant Hill would have been one of the better players ever.
Sure. All around player, did everything.
And he was even
Hardaway. Like those were like the two guys that I thought would be like Jordan, but you know.
Yeah. And Derrick Rose too. Derrick Rose is like, although Derrick Rose had a pretty good year this year for us.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a good last 2 years. Like he's never going to be obviously MVP levels, but he's still a legitimate starter, I think.
He's like really quick again. You know,
like getting that explosiveness back for sure.
Yeah.
I think he's feeling more confident. Like after basically being hurt for 3 straight years, you feel a little like less than confident being aggressive on your moves and stuff like that. So like I think he's finally kind of feeling like normal, like confident again. So
I get it. I broke my foot freshman year in college and playing a soccer game, and I had to get a surgery. And then I was kind of never as quick, never as like, and it was mostly just like it's in your head. It's like you know, just favored the other leg more.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have such great sports science now. Like that's one of the things about like LeBron James is his commitment and his work ethic and his talent, like incredible. But he also has access to like sports science that I think other people didn't have.
For sure.
You know,
for sure. 1,000%.
I mean, they were playing chucks back in the day. Like what?
Yeah, that's
they got better technology for their feet.
Like, how do you play in those?
I don't know. How did everyone like? They must have all had to tape their ankles. Like,
no, for sure. But also, like, just the like landing on those, like the like constantly, like man. No.
Yeah, imagine somebody else landing on your feet in those, like in basketball game. Like,
can't even walk in chucks for too long. Your feet start hurting. So yeah, I don't have no idea how to play it.
My foot hurt for like 6 months because I walked around Manhattan one day in chucks for like.
Oh my God! Nah, see, yeah.
I can't even imagine that.
You can't wear shoes that look cool but aren't comfy out here.
No, I know. I'm all about comfort.
Yeah.